Hey everyone, it's Leanne, and I've stepped away from the computer for this video for a very important reason, which you'll see in a moment. So, there are three things that happened over the last few days that completely changed my view of the world in a really interesting way, and I think you'll appreciate this. And it all came together for me with the third thing, which happened when I was driving home from the doctor's appointment with Jacob today, and it was his 1 year appointment. And so I'm driving back and I'm listening to Psycho-Cybernetics because I have it on audiobook, and my doorbell's ringing. So I gotta go get the doorbell. I'll be right back. I'm back. So that was a package from FedEx or UPS or who knows what. Anyway, so I'm driving back. I'm listening to Psycho-Cybernetics, and he is still talking. So it's going from chapter 11 to 12, and he's still talking about how when we inhibit ourselves and we're not fully ourselves, people don't like us. They feel uncomfortable with us. If we feel uncomfortable with ourselves, then people feel the same way, right? When we inhibit ourselves, when people who stutter and they're constantly checking and criticizing themselves. And Maxwell Maltz mentions that you're not only happier, but people like you more when you don't worry about what people think of you, and you just behave like yourself. Because, like I said in yesterday's blog post, there's you can only be yourself, right? And what was that? How does that saying go? Because I love that saying. It's be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. And it's very true, right? So anyway, so Maxwell Maltz is talking about this, and all of a sudden I said, oh my gosh, that's it. Because just a few days before, I was in my mother-in-law's living room hanging out with my friend Adette and her daughter, who's about a month and a half older than Jacob. So she's about probably 12 months now. And 14 months. A year is 12 months, not 10 months for the record. So she's probably about 14 months or so, maybe a little under that. And she started walking before Jacob did, probably because she's a little bit older and, for whatever reason. And she has this walk she does, which is really cute. It's not all the time, but she will take her hands, put them behind her back, and walk around. And they call it her supervisor walk, like she's going and inspecting. So, and it's really cute. You have to see it. I don't know if they got it on camera, but whatever. You can just imagine a little, 1-year-old basically with her hands behind her back, walking around, inspecting. So I saw that, and I didn't really think anything of it except it's really cute. And then I watched the TED Talk the other night. Donna and I were actually in our living room since we just got back from New York, and we were unpacking. And I said, let's just unpack 2 bags. Let's put the TV on. And so I put Netflix on, and I saw a thing with a bunch of TED Talks, and I was like, cool, let's watch them. So one of the TED Talks by Amy Cuddy, I think her name is, and I'll write her name down in case I got it wrong. She talks about how body language shapes us, and she did research on how we change, how our personality changes and how our cortisol levels change when we take certain postures. And so she did this research, and she showed a few pictures, which are very, very funny, and I'll share one with you. Well, not the actual picture, but the idea of the picture. You'll have to imagine it yourself or watch the TED Talk, which I'll paste below for you. But so anyway, she looks at all these postures, and postures of power, like standing like this, like sitting back like this with your legs up on your desk, and versus postures that are really closed, that maybe holding your hands, which I found like I do this a lot. I was watching the talk, and I was like, oh, I tend to do this when I'm talking to people. And a lot of times, not always, a lot of times women are more likely to make themselves a little bit smaller, whereas men tend to make themselves a little bit bigger. And if you think about winning, if you win a sports competition, you're like, yeah! And this is a natural thing that even blind people do, she says in the video. You'll see below. Anyway, so she did this research, and she had people in either a power pose or more closed pose. I forgot what she calls it, and you'll see below again. And she had them take it for 2 minutes. So she either had someone standing like this, or sitting back with their hands behind their back. And she has a picture of Oprah doing this, which just I find so funny. And she just says people in power tend to do this. Their cortisol levels tend to be lower, and they tend to be more of themselves. It's like they're more sure of themselves and they give more of themselves. And so she did this research and had people look at job interviews after people have been in these postures. And guess what? People who went and took a power posture for 2 minutes before the interview were more able to share of themselves and to be themselves, and as Maxwell Maltz talks about, not worry about what they sound like, what they look like, or feel awkward, compared to people who are more closed and maybe even, hand on the neck, which I guess is protecting their neck. And so this all came together for me, and I wanted to share it with you. And I'm going to let you watch the TED Talk because I think it's awesome. And I think you'll enjoy it. And just let me know below in the comments, what do you think about that, and did you try it? Because I actually tried it today. I set up my computer and I was like, let me see how I feel when I do this. And by the way, this is all coming together because there are things that you can do before you speak on stage. You can do something like this to feel more confident and more powerful, and to speak louder. And where did I hear this? I think Sam Crowley was talking about this too on a recent empowering audio that I was listening to. So, I mean, all this stuff comes together, and wouldn't you know it, it's just like anything else. Once you learn about something, you see it and you hear it everywhere. Seems like everyone knows about it. So, anyway, enjoy it, use it, leave a comment below, let me know if you tried it, how does it feel, and I look forward to reading your comments or hearing your comments or getting them an email or however the heck you get them to me. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. So take your power pose. Oh, and before I forget, there's something else that you can do that I learned a while back from a guy named Jonathan Budd. And this is something that you can do before you talk. You can have a little motion that you do, and even a sound and a yell that you can do to prepare yourself for going on stage. So this goes beyond standing there in a power position or sitting back in a power position for a long time. Is you can actually do something, and I learned this from Jonathan Budd, and then I learned a specific way that another person did it. This guy named Toby and Layla Black, these two guys, I guess, a girl and a guy, and they do this thing, which I'll show you, which looks really silly. They'll stomp their feet and they'll bring their arms up and bring their voices up, and then they go power, power, power. So it looks kind of like this. Whoa, power, power, power. And there you go. So try it, check out the TED Talk, and let me know how you feel next time you do that. And what if you practice that for 2 minutes a day, just like Cuddy says. All right, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye for now.